Hello guys, welcome back to Modern Wife. I am so excited today. So as you've already seen by the title of the video, I'll be showing you how I organize my pantry cupboard. I don't know if I should call it a pantry because it's quite small, but you know what I mean. So I'll be really taking you through how I did everything and placed everything on these canisters. So I thought, let me just show you how I went from that to this. Okay, so the first thing I did really was to take out everything out of my pantry cupboard. As you can see, it's quite a mess in there. I'm not exactly proud of it, but it is what it is. So just taking everything out of there, you can see that there's your cooking spray in the same place as your peanut butter. So it's just all over the place. Okay, so this is everything that was in my pantry cupboard. I'm not someone who exactly panics buys, so as you can see, this is not a lot of stuff, but it's everything that I need, and so we just buy as we go along. So probably next week or so we'll probably get some more groceries. So the next thing I do now is to go in and clean my cupboard. I thoroughly clean it, scrub using detergents such as your Handy Andy, bleach, and Vim. So I go in and make sure that I reach all the surfaces. I clean there. And also just make sure guys that you clean your door as well, your pantry cupboard door, especially the inside, because it can be quite dirty sometimes. So I just go in and thoroughly clean that. Now moving on to the biggest job, which is packing everything into these canisters or containers. I know people like different canisters, but I just really went in for these jars because I wanted everything to be uniform. So I'm not gonna get different for cereal or anything like that, so it's just gonna be the same jars throughout. And I really love brown rice, so I buy a lot of that, and but my kids and everyone else not so much, so that's how I buy white rice as well, just to switch things up. Plus I love cooking biryani, and I don't think I can do that with brown rice, so I still need white rice. So the first thing I do with emptying everything into the canisters is that I start with my starch or my dry ingredients. I empty those into these nice containers. I know it's glass, which is a bit risky for someone who has kids, but I just have this thing that glass makes everything looks fresher, and it can keep things fresher for longer. And then yeah, the one mistake I did is that I think I need more bigger jars. I didn't realize how much of starch I buy, for example Samp, so I need a bigger jar for that. And I got this at Westpac Lifestyle, like I had mentioned, and they were actually very affordable. They have a shop in Greenstone. I don't know where else they have Westpac Lifestyle, but that's where I got this. And they came with gold lids. I didn't really like them, so I bought white lids separately and just replaced those. Okay, so now I move on to my cereal, and I love oats because you can do so many things with it. In the morning it's very quick and easy, plus you can do cookies with oats. So it's something that we all can have, and when I don't feel like doing that full English breakfast, I can just resort to oats as the quick thing. And my kids love cornflakes, not so much, so I try and buy at least 3 different cereals. And the other thing that we do when we're not in lockdown is that we buy cereals for work. So I keep cereals at work, my husband does the same, just checking if those are not stale, and clearly they're not. And the other thing as well is that I love pasta. So I buy at least 3 different kinds of pasta, and clearly I bought a lot of penne pasta, and now I'm just realizing that I needed a bigger container for that. So I'm just gonna move it from a small container to an even bigger container, and yeah, we keep it moving. Okay, the other thing that I forgot to mention is that I washed this off camera, so they are clean. I made sure that I washed them. I washed the lids as well, and they are now dry and clean, and that's why I'm emptying everything into those. I really love these jars, but they have different shapes, so you can go and get your cereal boxes or cereal containers, different ones, but I just like this. And then moving on to something that I also buy a lot, which is flour. Guys, you can never go wrong with flour, especially if you have kids. You always find yourself having to bake, so I love baking with them. If you haven't seen my baking video, please do go and check it out. I'll also link it in the description bar below. But yeah, there's so many things that I can do with flour. Whenever I feel like having that nice home cooked meal, like dumplings or steamed bread, I can make use of my flour. Plus, like they always say, ingcwaba flour liseswini. So regardless of how anything turns out, someone is bound to buy flour, so it's really not a waste. So that's one of the biggest containers I have for flour, because I buy a lot of it. Another thing that I forgot when I was doing my cereals is muesli. I always buy granola because I can do so many things with it. I can have it as my breakfast cereal in the morning. I can also make cookies, and I can also make my smoothies. So I try and buy a bit more of that. Another thing as well, we don't really like junk food. Well, I don't, so I don't buy a lot of snacks for the kids except for those cookies or biscuits. So that's basically the only snack that they will have. I normally have a big container for that, especially when I've baked cookies for them, but right now I'm running quite low on those, so I'm gonna use the small container. And moving on to my best thing, like spices. I love spices. So starting with your barbecue spices, steak and chops, Portuguese chicken, and just emptying those into the smaller jars. I couldn't find white lids for the smaller jars, so I'm gonna leave them with this gold lids. Like I mentioned, I think my husband will definitely need labels for this because he won't be able to differentiate between the spices, but I can. So yeah, I'll try and do an update video where I show you everything once I've labeled and it looks all nice. But right now I'm just moving on to my Portuguese spice. Guys, I will tell you a story one day about how my husband introduced me to Portuguese spice, Portuguese chicken spice. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And I'm just gonna empty my spices and my seeds. I love biryani, so I always have biryani mix in my house. So I'm just moving on to empty those. I've already emptied my chia seeds. I also love those for my smoothies. If I'm making my peanut butter smoothie, I always put on some chia seeds. And now to more spices. That's a rack that a friend of mine bought for me as a wedding gift. It has all your herbs, the likes of your basil, thyme, coriander. So whenever I run out of those, I just quickly go to the shops and buy more and then refill it. But yeah, I love anything spice and herbs. So that's my herbs. Your turmeric powder, that's where I'll probably put them. And yeah, so now I'm just going on to everything that I couldn't fit on my containers or canisters. So those are just things like your stock cubes, your soups, your sauces, your aromat, like yindoni ikaya ngaphandle kwe aromat. So I go on into my veggies. Guys, ndingumntwana wekhehlekazi, so I buy veggies in bulk. So that's basically I always go out for the combo. So I'm just emptying everything into this basket. I need to tell you a story about this. This was actually a vegetable rack. So I just dismantled the vegetable rack and I took out these 3 things. So now half of the job is done. I'm just placing everything back, and what I'm doing is I'm starting with my starch again, putting it on a topper shelf where kids cannot exactly reach, and then going on with my cereals and snacks. So this is how everything turned out. Like I mentioned, I probably need labels, but yeah, it's much better than what it was. So let me know what you think. I still have my tin stuff there, as well as some of my coffee and more sauces, and so I think I need baskets for those so that everything is just uniform. But please let me know what you think, and if you really enjoyed this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. I love you so much. Until we meet again, bye.